The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Weyburn City Council, held at Council Chambers at 6 p.m. Monday, June 12th, 2023. We have a really packed agenda tonight, and as well as we have a packed house tonight, which is quite good to see. The first thing, though, that we have is we have a new councillor that is joining our council here tonight, Larry Higgs. He was the candidate that won in the last by-election. And we have the oath of office for the councillor, if you would, please. And then we have our city solicitor that will swear him in.
Go ahead. Oh, just straight up? Okay. I, Larry Higgs, have been elected to the City Council, that I truly and faithfully, impartially, to the best of my knowledge and the abilities to perform the duties of this office. I'm qualified to hold this office to which I've been elected, that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise of payment or reward for the exercise of any corrupt practice or other undue election or influence of this office. I've read and understand and agree to abide by the Code of Ethics, rules of conduct, procedures applicable to my position as member of council, required of me of the Cities Act and any other act by council. I will perform the duties of council imposed by the Cities Act and any other act or law by council, disclose any conflict of interest within the meaning of Part 7 of the Cities Act, and comply with the Code of Ethics, rules, and conduct procedures applicable to the office I now hold, that I am opposed to the Cities Act and any other act by council.
You solemnly declare that to be true?
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Higgs. And Solicitor, thank you very much for your time. The next approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting and strategic planning and priorities meeting held May 23rd, 2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Your Worship, that we accept those as presented.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Additions to the agenda.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. No additions from administration tonight.
Council? Seeing none, we're moving forward. There's no public hearings and notices. Tonight we have delegations with delegations, proclamations, presentations. Tonight we have our Queen's Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal presentations. So how we're going to do this is Mr. Richards here will read the nominees, and I shall pass out the medals.
I feel like I had my back to everybody. This is really heavy. Okay. Okay, thanks everybody for coming. We have these are important, and I want to just there is a bit of background to the medals, and I want to emphasize the importance of the medals. Tonight we will help celebrate Her late Majesty's Platinum Jubilee by recognizing some exceptional Saskatchewanians who have given of their time and talents in service to their communities, our province, and our country. As you know, Saskatchewan's Platinum Jubilee Medal commemorates the 70th anniversary of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's ascension to the throne as Queen of Canada upon the death of her father, King George VI, on February 6, 1952. Her Majesty was crowned June 2, 1953 at Westminster Abbey, as coronations have been for 900 years. Steeped in tradition, Her Majesty's coronation made history as the first ever to be televised and was watched by 27 million people in the UK alone and millions more around the world. Her Majesty's unwavering dedication to more than 70 remarkable years of continuous service to Canada, the United Kingdom, and the Commonwealth. This extraordinary achievement made her Britain's longest reigning monarch. And while her passing on September 8th, 2022 makes our celebration bittersweet, it also makes the honor particularly special as we remember the spirit of duty with which she served so selflessly. Her late Majesty has expressed her wish that Jubilee events be an occasion for enjoying a sense of togetherness and optimism about the future, which makes today the perfect opportunity to celebrate the achievements of people who make our community better. Today's medal recipients led rather than to be led. They tackled challenges head-on. They see problems as opportunities instead of obstacles. So in advance, congratulations to everyone receiving this special distinction. Mayor Roy is over there. He will hand out the medals. When we call you up, we'll ask that you go that way, straight to Mayor Roy, and then rather than coming back so we can keep the thing flowing, we'll get you to kind of go all the way around, if you could, and then come back and do whatever from there. Then we do have Janine is our official photographer. She's got some training. In fact, her dad was a photographer, so we have no concerns whatsoever. Early next week, Janine will email, or somebody will email out the photos to you. You'll get, so don't worry, you don't have to get up there and get pictures. Although I think you shouldn't, because then the flash, I don't know, will not be good. Okay. Yes, right. So Mayor Roy will hand you your medal, but there is a certificate that goes with that. So please make sure you get yours on the way by off that table as well. And they are specific. They have your name on them. So make sure you get yours when you go by. Okay. We're going to get started. If you're ready, Your Worship. First, for her outstanding service and citizenship in the field of volunteer service, our Villa Carleton is awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal. For her outstanding service and citizenship in the field of business and commerce, Leah Nibbs is awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal. For her outstanding service and citizenship in the field of arts, Regan Lanning is awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal. For her outstanding service and citizenship in the field of volunteer service, Fran Messer is awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal. For her outstanding service and citizenship in the field of healthcare, Florence Oline Monteith is awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal. As Florence has recently passed away, accepting this award posthumously on her behalf is her son, Sandy. Oh, sorry. For her outstanding service and citizenship in the field of reconciliation, Raquel Belfleur is awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal. For his outstanding service and citizenship in the field of volunteer service, Randy Uren is awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal. For his outstanding service and citizenship in the field of volunteer service, Cameron Weber is awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal. For her outstanding service and citizenship in the field of volunteer service, Tracy Rothwell is awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal. For his outstanding service and citizenship in the field of business and commerce, Alan Tozak is awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal.
Ron Barber was the mayor. Jeff. The people, they were all excellent people on council.
Okay, just one moment. Just bring you over. I'll just bring the mic over here. Okay, let's go. Okay, go ahead.
Over here?
Yeah, just kind of talk right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
This is
You can start again, Bill.
Yeah, like I said, when I was here, Ron Barber was the mayor, and of course I was an alderman. Marlene Nettlecove was one of the aldermen. Bill Turleson, Frank Jennings, Don Slosher, Jim Brown, and I guess that was it. And there was people on the administration were excellent. The people from Weyburn were. I remember Freddie Martin, Dan Bernouge. It's because we got such a green city because of Dan. Stan Runny, he knew where every penny was all the time. And Cheryl Heisler, she ran the city as far as I could see. And she, she brought everything to us and just laid it down in front of us, and that's how it worked. But I had a very good 3 years on the council and really enjoyed it. It was funny when our term was up, there was a bunch of the guys from Main Street come down to the garage, and they were trying to convince me to run for mayor because, Ron's term, he carried on with something else, and they wanted me to run for mayor, and they were really putting a lot of pressure on me. And there was an old fellow, one of our older customers, sitting down by the coffee machine, and he could hear everything that was going on. And he finally piped up and he said, Tozak, said, if you and Barber had another 3 years, city'd be completely broke. I said, there, guys, see, there you have it. And that got me off the hook. Well, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, everybody. It's my pleasure to congratulate all of our recipients. So one more round of applause for everybody, if you would, please. This is the presentation. I'd like to thank Tina Clay for putting this all together. She's done a couple of these for us now, so thank you, Tina. These are a lot of work. Good for you. I'll put this back now.
We have, yes, you can move front row, you guys. So we have one more Summa Honorary Award to past Councillor Dick Mixel. Matthew, if you would, please read.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. So tonight I have the pleasure of providing recognition to Councillor Mickle for all the great contributions he provided to the City of Weyburn. So in April, at the Summa Convention, Councillor Mickle received the Honorary Service Award from Saskatchewan Urban Municipalities Association, and that's in recognition for anyone who has 20 or more years of service as elected official or as an employee of the municipality. So this award recognizes the recipient's successes, dedication, involvement, and really what they provide back into the community. So a little bit on Councillor Mickle. Councillor Mickle has been a resident of Weyburn since 1973. He's married to his lovely wife, Audrey, for 55 years. I have two sons, Chris, who's married to Lindsay, and Ryan, who's married to Crystal. And they have 4 grandchildren, so Olivia, Ben, Kate, and Jack. So Councillor Mickle had served 7 consecutive terms with the City of Weyburn. That is from 2001 till 2023. He has served on many boards and committees over the years, and I'll just highlight on some of those boards and committees he's sat on as his time with the City Council. So we have the Weyburn Police Commission, the Airport Board, the Facility Advisory Committee, which is also Heritage Advisory for the City, Environmental Committee, the Weyburn Walk of Fame Committee, District Planning Commission, and the City and RM Weyburn Ad Hoc Committee. Also, Councillor Mickle served on many Weyburn surrounding area boards, including the separate school division, and several other community boards and committees, including the Weyburn Agricultural Society, Nickel Lake Regional Board, Weyburn Chamber of Commerce, and Weyburn Tourism Committee. Through Councillor Mickle's time, he's involved in many large projects for the City of Weyburn, and he made some major significant decisions. One is the building we're in today. One of the very first votes that he was a part of when he was on council was making a choice to come over to this building to be City Hall. Some other things are the spray parks that we have here in the community, the Credit Union Spark Center, and the citywide recycling program. Councillor Mickle always put this community first. He was always out there in the community, so it didn't matter if it was a hockey game. It didn't matter if it was him out there walking and talking to the people in the community. He truly believed in what Weyburn was, and he really wanted to make this a great place for people to live. He put tireless hours into this community, and it's much appreciated by the residents, our businesses, many council members he worked on with. So seven terms, a lot of different people he worked with. and the countless people within administration he worked with. This is a huge accomplishment for him. Unfortunately, he could not be here tonight to receive this, but I am very honored to be able to acknowledge the work that he did, and quite fortunate to be able to work with him for the many years. And you know, everything that he provided back to the community will always be very representative of what Weyburn is. It's a community for all, and it's a community that is open to everybody, and he was always that person. So for me, this is a really big honor that he has received this award. I'd really like to congratulate Councillor Mickle for receiving this award.
Moving forward, there's no reports of standing committees. On the consent agenda, there's a cash activity report, the building department report for April, May. The cash activity was for April. The public works report for May, the water treatment plant, and the fire department May report. These will all be posted on our city website for anyone's viewing. Do you have a motion to accept and receive?
Your Worship, I'll make a motion that the items on the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Motions. There's a motion for accounts payable.
Your Worship, again, I'll make a motion that the purchases in the amount of $1,806,954.08 from May 1st to May 31st, 2023 be passed for payment.
Second.
Your Worship, I'll second. Oh,
You'll second. Discussion? Any discussion about any of these? I have to have bells here. So, buzzers. Anyway, seeing no discussion. Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Director Wilkinson, you are up next. Asphalt and concrete RFP for First Avenue Northeast and 18th Street.
Yes, thank you very much. So this is for First Avenue Northeast and 16th Street intersection improvements. The 2023 budget has allotted $700,000 for the Infrastructure Revitalization Program, IRP. Asphalt projects and concrete work have been awarded to utilize $560,000 of the budgeted amount. The remaining $140,000 in conjunction with $118,125 of government funding through the Urban Highway Connector Program and $170,000 of the Public Works street repair budget will be utilized for the intersection upgrades at 16th Street and First Avenue Northeast for a total of $428,125. In December 2022, the engineering department retained Solely Solutions to conduct a geotechnical investigation and traffic study at the First Avenue Northeast and 16th Street intersection to review the pavement conditions, existing and future levels of service, and recommend a conceptual improvement alternative. The intersection is currently controlled by a four-way stop, and the pavement is experiencing significant rutting related to slow-moving traffic and stopping traffic. The rehabilitation recommendations consisted of 3 improvement options as follows. Alternative A, high stability asphalt overlay. Alternative B, Portland cement concrete slab. Alternative C, Portland cement concrete overlay on existing milled asphalt surface. Based on the traffic study results, it was determined that traffic signal lights would be more effective at improving the level of service compared to adding turning lanes and retaining the four-way stop. It was also strongly recommended to add a southbound bypass lane on 16th Street in conjunction with traffic signal lights to allow southbound traffic to go through or to go around traffic waiting to turn left onto the service road. The RFP was issued as an alternate bid with 2 design alternatives consisting of the high stability asphalt concrete surface and the Portland cement concrete overlay. The RFP also included a south bypass lane and tapered south turning lane on the west quadrant of the intersection on First Avenue. Traffic light installation was not part of the intersection upgrade work scope at this time. On May 5th, the request for proposal for the First Avenue Northeast and 16th Street intersection improvements was posted on the city's new online bidding portal, Bids and Tenders, SAS Tenders, and the city's website. Proposals were to be received by the City of Weyburn by May 26th at 1 p.m. 2 proposals were received. Proposals submitted were reviewed to ensure bidders understood the scope of work involved, met the RFP requirements, and to ensure the project delivery schedule could be met. Both of the proposals met the full requirements. The qualifying bids are summarized below and exclude taxes. So as you can see, nobody did bid on the cement concrete with an asphalt concrete surface. And we did have 2 bid on the high-grade asphalt Genco and Torrent. So there were no bids received for alternate B. The lowest bid for alternate A exceeded the available budget by approximately $171,902.91. When the city applied for the UHCP funding for the rehabilitation of First Ave and 16th Street intersection in 2021, a cost estimate of $168,750 was used based on an estimated cost of $125 per meter squared over an area of 1,350 meters squared. The 2023 design was based off the results of the geotechnical investigation and the traffic study and resulted with an increased work area and additional upgrades, turning and bypass lanes. Even with the additional intersection upgrades costs separated, the cost of the rehabilitation of the intersection was $201,856.69 higher than what was estimated in 2021. On June 5th, the Engineering Department reached out to the Ministry of Highways to request additional funds to cover 70% of the actual costs for the intersection rehabilitation for an additional $141,299.68 of funding, where the city would cover 100% cost of the upgrades. Negotiations with the Ministry of Highway are still in progress, and we have not heard anything back to date. With a reduction in scope eliminating the west quadrant turning lane, the project cost could be reduced to approximately $450,000. The engineering department does not recommend a reduction in scope because of the effects it will have on the long-term planning for this intersection. Based on the results of the traffic study, the full work scope design will best preserve the integrity of the intersection and increase the level of service for future traffic loads. By including the full work scope design of this project in 2023, in conjunction with installing traffic signal lights in the future, the traffic will be better managed through this busy intersection, resulting with noise reduction and preservation of the asphalt investment. So it is recommended that the full scope of work for alternative A be awarded to Torrent Energy Services Incorporated for a total amount of $6,027.91 plus taxes. It is recommended that an overage of $171,902.91 come from the Infrastructure Revitalization Program reserves.
Do I have a motion, please, before discussion?
I'll make that motion, Your Worship, that the bid of Torrent Energy Services to provide a high-stability asphalt overlay at the intersection of First Avenue Northeast and 16th Street for a total amount of $627.91 plus taxes be accepted, and that the budget overage for this project in the amount of $171,902.91 be taken out of the Infrastructure Revitalization Program reserve.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Go ahead.
Thanks, Your Worship. I have a few questions. Jen? Oh, not on. I'm new here. I have a few questions, Jen, and I think I would know some of the answers, but I want to be clear. So the turning lane that's going to be installed, if I could call it a turning lane,
Yep.
will be in the westbound lane of First Avenue, and, right? Sorry, the eastbound lane, pardon me, the eastbound lane, but on the west side of the intersection.
Yeah.
Yep. And that will continue on to 16th Street until it's past the service road.
Yes.
Right. Perfect. I think I fully support that. Thank you for whoever came up with that. We didn't get any bids on concrete. I think the answer to this I know, but would it be your expectation that have we got a bid for concrete, it would be exponentially higher than what we see here?
Yeah, that would be our expectation. We did consult with other municipalities that have done or bid out concrete in this same way, and it really the gap has broadened. I think over the past few years, where it is making it a lot harder to do the expense of concrete.
Yeah. If I may, a couple more, Your Worship. Thank you. So lights, yes, great idea. Do you have an idea, two things, the timing of the project, first, and second, how we'll handle the truck traffic?
Yeah, so we will do an engineered traffic plan for this, and we will work with the RM as well as the Ministry of Highways on a truck traffic plan for that during that time. Yeah.
And then timing for the project? When start, finish kind of thing?
That will have to be, I don't want to settle to a date until we've actually awarded and confirmed with the contractors. Because this is actually a special design asphalt, it has to get into the asphalt plan and be specially designed with this, but our expectation is to finish it this construction season.
Perfect. And then my final comment would be, although, and I fully support taking that 171,000 out of the revitalization reserves, please don't take the pressure off the Ministry of Highways to come to the table with more if it's a possibility.
Yes, we're definitely working in conjunction with them, and they were not overly surprised to hear of higher costs coming in because they're seeing it as well.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for your work on this. Thanks, Your Worship.
Anything else? I guess a couple questions there. It has been asked that why, to explain why we're not doing the lights first. If the lights are kind of a saving factor in this intersection, put the lights in, and then do the asphalt.
Part of it is the light infrastructure won't work as well without those turning and bypass lanes, because you will see a significant backup just because of the very short distance between the highway and that south service road, that if you put the lights in first, you are going to see some congestion issues with people not being able to get there and turn around that. So you actually need the lanes in place to properly ensure traffic flow with the lights going in. That would be one of the biggest things with it, and why you need the lanes to go in first.
And then I guess two general comments, just comments about the whole project. This is, as I said, there's going to be some, because we're disruption in traffic and flow here, and I say it in a very respectful way to our citizens, but the Weyburn is moving very greatly on a lot of improvements. So people in Weyburn are going to have to understand construction in our city over the next couple of years, because we're going to have this intersection, we've got the hospital is being built, there's going to be construction there. When the roundabout goes, there's going to be inconveniences. And you don't build a city without inconveniences. And that simply is, we're doing massive improvements here, and which we thank the engineering department for getting done. And there's going to be a lot of inconveniences of it. Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Airport repairs, please. RFP.
Yes, thank you. So this is for the 2023 airport repairs. So the 2023 engineering budget has $50,000 allocated for the refurbishment of the Weyburn Airport entrance. The Community Airport Partnership CAP has approved a 50% funding request for this project to a maximum of $88,600. The airport refurbishment project was posted on the original asphalt RFP for the following scope. Part 5, mulching, reshaping, and compacting existing asphalt as subbase prior to recapping with a 75mm asphalt overlay at the Weyburn Airport entrance. On April 21st, 2023, a request for proposal for the 2023 asphalt repairs was posted on the city's new online bidding portal, Bids and Tenders, SAS Tenders, and the city's website. Proposals were to be received by May 8th at 1 p.m., and a total of 4 proposals were received. Proposals submitted were reviewed to ensure bidders understood the scope of work involved, met the RFP requirements, and to ensure the project delivery schedule could be met. All 4 proposals met the full requirements. Qualifying bids are summarized below and exclude taxes. So you can see Genco, Site Management, Torrent, and Southern Asphalt. The entrance at the airport is showing degradation and localized deterioration. This is also the location that STARS lands when waiting for patient transfers. After multiple heavy snowfalls that occurred this winter, the airport entrance experienced further deterioration and is in total disrepair. It is recommended that Part 5 airport airport repairs is awarded to Genco Asphalt Incorporated for a total of $141,859.60, with an overage request of $20,929.80 be approved.
Do I have a motion, please?
Your worship, I would move that the bid of Genco Asphalt Incorporated for the airport refurbishment project, Part 5, in the amount of $141,859.60, and that the budget overage on the project in the amount of $20,929.80 be taken from engineering reserve.
Second?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Could you just bring the awards down again, the bids down again? Okay. I was being dyslexic with looking at one of them, so sorry about that. Okay, discussion? Also, it's just to be noted that one of the airport's hangars right at that entrance there too, where the Stars land, has been sold, and there's going to be quite a bit of traffic coming out of that place too. So this is very important to get this done here. And it'll be quite a bit heavier truck traffic too on it. So, all right, we will call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. The next one, asphalt number 2 RFP, Railway Avenue and Duncan Drive pavement repair.
Yes, thank you. So this is for asphalt water main replacement, as well as a couple of street repairs. So the 2023 utilities budget has $68,500 left for the pavement repair of the 2023 water main replacements on Railway Avenue and Duncan Drive. This spring, there were 2 major asphalt blowouts discovered on 1st Street between Cotto Avenue and Prairie Avenue, and 13th Street between Hartney Avenue and Park Avenue. These areas are currently barricaded and impassable due to lack of granular base and underlying saturated high swelling clays. A second asphalt RFP was posted up for the following work scope. So part 1 was the repair of the water main replacement trench on Duncan Drive. Part 2 was the repair of the water main replacement trench on Railway Avenue. And part 3 and 4 were for the 1st Street repair area and the 13th Street repair area. And so that one is an excavation of existing asphalt, base and subgrade to a depth of 600 millimeters, install woven geotextile, rebuild base with city-supplied reclaimed asphalt, apply tack coat, and 100 meters overlay of new asphalt. So on May 16th, the request for proposal for the 2023 asphalt number 2 was posted on the city's new online bidding portal, Bids and Tenders, SAS Tenders, and the city website. Proposals were to be received by June 1st at 1 p.m., and a total of 3 were received. Proposals submitted were reviewed to ensure bidders understood the scope of work involved, met the RFP requirements, and to ensure the project delivery schedule could be met. All 3 of the proposals met the full requirements, and the qualifying bids are summarized below and exclude taxes. So as you can see, we had the 3 bidders for the 4 different parts. So it was determined that the cause of the asphalt repairs on 1st Street and 13th Street were a result of inadequate base. Therefore, these areas cannot be patch overlaid. The work scope for these repair areas involves excavating the inadequate base, rebuilding with acceptable base material. The city has proposed to provide recycled asphalt for the base, and then a machine patch overlay of new asphalt. These areas need to be rebuilt, shaped, and compacted properly, and as soon as possible, in order to stop any more water from entering under the base of the road and ultimately causing further damage and disrepair. And the photos of the repair areas are included in Appendix A. So it is recommended that the proposed asphalt projects, Part 1 and Part 2, be awarded to Indy Construction Management Limited for a total of $68,321.50 to be covered under the utilities budget. And then it is recommended that the proposed asphalt projects, Part 3 and Part 4, be awarded to Indy Construction Management Limited for a total of $49,862 to be covered under the Local Improvements Reserve.
Do I have a motion, please?
Your Worship, I'll make the motion that the proposals of Indy Construction Management Limited to perform asphalt for the following be approved. Part 1, Duncan Drive at $34,777. Part 2, Railway Avenue, $35,544.50. Part 3, First Street, $31,351, and Part 4, 13th Street, $18,511. And further, that Part 1 and Part 2 in the amount of $68,321.50 be covered under the allocated utilities budget, and that the budget overage for Part 3 and Part 4 in the amount of $49,862 be covered under the local improvements reserve.
I can second that, Your Worship.
And although Duncan Drive is where I live, the main part I had excluded myself from. This part is just simply the tendering of the payment, the completion of the project, so I won't exclude myself. Discussion of any of this? Go ahead.
More just a curiosity, Jen, is where Indy Construction Management is located.
They are based out of White City.
Okay, thank you.
Just a comment, thank you for doing all of this work. We've heard lots about some of this, so I appreciate that it's on the menu.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. We have the Weyburn Agricultural Society outdoor event.
Thanks, Your Worship. So we received a request from the Weyburn Ag Society for an upcoming event and looking for selling liquor in an outdoor venue. So they have their 114th annual fair coming up here from July 6th to 8th. So they'd be having an event at the Weyburn Exhibition Grounds. So the request they have here tonight in front of you is the request to have alcohol sold on July 6th, 7th, and 8th from 2 p.m. till 2 a.m. So this is a requirement through SAS Liquor and Gaming to have approval from the City of Weyburn. There is no concerns from administration as this has occurred in many, many events, and they provide the adequate fencing or security for those events. So we have no concern for the request tonight.
Do you have a motion?
Your Worship, I'll make the motion that council support the request of the Weyburn Agricultural Society to make an application for the issuance of an outdoor liquor permit by Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming Authority for the following dates and times: July 6th, 7th, and 8th of 2023 from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Your Worship, I'll second that motion.
Discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Director of Finance, Ms. Howell. Tax enforcement property tender.
Thank you. Under the provisions of the Tax Enforcement Act, the city offered the following property for sale by public tender. It was located at 216 Water Street. On May 2nd, 2023, the property tender under the Tax Enforcement Act was posted on SAS Tenders, in the Weyburn Review, and the city's website. Tenders were to be received by the city of Weyburn no later than May 30th at 2 p.m. One tender was received as below with a bid price of $1,800. So currently there is an estimated outstanding tax and tax enforcement cost of just under $8,000. So the options are to either accept the offer as presented, counteroffer for the full outstanding property taxes of $7,928.33, or to refuse the bid. It's recommended by staff to choose option 2 to counteroffer for the full outstanding property taxes and tax enforcement costs of $7,928.33.
Do you have a motion?
Yep. Thanks, Your Worship. Would make a motion that as per the offer to purchase the property at 216 Water Street, which is Lot 13, Block 68, Plan AG 4899, in the amount of $1,800 from Kevin and Rhonda Melly. Council counteroffer in the amount of $7,928.33, which represents the estimated outstanding property taxes and tax enforcement costs as recommended by the Director of Finance.
Second?
Your Worship, I'll second that motion.
Discussion? Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm fully supportive of this motion, but the question that I have then is, if the counter offer is not accepted, where do we go from there?
So we can repost it on SAS Tenders and see if we get any other bids, or we can sit on it for a year and then follow the Enforcement Act on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Seeing no more discussion, call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. No introduction of bylaws, no unfinished business. New business, land sale. Janine, if you would, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the city has received an offer to purchase from IESP Industrial Electric Submersible Pumps for the land located at 1301 Gray Street. It's located just south of Regina Avenue. The offer to purchase is for $22,320 plus GST, which is the market price charged by the city of $12,000 per acre for bare land, and that includes no services or utilities. The proposal is for the development of an industrial shop, which is consistent with the medium industrial zoning applicable to the property. The land is an area of approximately 1.68 acres. The property has not been listed for sale to the public since it's not a serviced lot, so the offer is going to council for approval for that reason. And there's a map of the subject property. So the offer to purchase is for 1301 Gray Street. The lot is located on Gray Street just south of Regina Avenue in an area with predominantly industrial and commercial uses. The lot is not currently serviced by sewer or water, and the purchaser desires to extend the water main and service connection to the site and intends to install three-phase power to the site. The cost for those services would be the responsibility of the purchaser. Off-site development levies will be applicable, separate from the purchase price, which will be charged at the development permit stage. The property is currently zoned medium industrial, and the proposal is for a shop building to enable the expansion of IESP's business, which would comply with the MI zone. The applicant would like to start construction of the shop, including pouring concrete, in August of 2023. The sale will be contingent upon the following conditions: the development of the lands generally consistent with the development proposal within 2 years of the closing date of the agreement. The land is sold as is, where is, meaning any improvements, upgrades to roads, services, utilities, and other infrastructure is to be at the cost of the purchaser, and the city's standard sale agreement conditions regarding deposits, closing, etc. would apply. So council's options tonight: option number 1 would be to approve the sale of 1301 Gray Street to IESP Industrial Electric Submersible Pumps for the purchase price offered of $22,320 plus applicable GST with the conditions listed above, and that the city clerk be authorized to sign said sale agreement. Or option number 2 would be to deny the sale of 1301 Gray Street and direct administration to advise the applicant of the denial, and the reasons for the denial would have to be provided. So given the offer to purchase is in alignment with the market price set by the city and the development proposal is consistent with the applicable zoning, staff would recommend option number 1 to approve the sale of the above-mentioned lands for the purchase price of $22,320 plus applicable GST.
Do you have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion, Your Worship, that the purchase of 1301 Gray Street, Lot 2, Block D, Plan 86R2930 from IESP Industrial Electric Submersible Pumps in the amount of $22,320 plus GST be accepted.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
You knew you were supposed to memorize that. That was your... Anyway, go ahead. The lot number, I mean, so go ahead.
Thanks, Your Worship. Janine, you mentioned the off-site development levy or charges in here. Is the purchaser aware of those and what they could potentially be?
Yeah, they're aware of them. We've met with them before.
Yeah, thanks for being clear.
No, you go ahead.
I'd just like to make a comment that I'm thrilled that we have expansion and growth in that area, and those businesses want to expand out there, so good on them.
Right. And it has to be also understood that as these people are expanding, they do not have quite the same roads and streets and facilities as the rest of the city because of just the way the area was developed or lack of development. But it's by as is, and with the directions that she's put in that they have to provide their own water and sewer, and they have to do a lot of their other work with it too. So it is good. Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Home-based business photography.
Thank you again, Your Worship. An application has been received from Kristen Barker to operate a photography studio business out of their residence at 1755 Cotto Avenue. It's located in the R2 zone, and the business is proposed to operate Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. This would be considered a controversial use as the business involves clients being directed to the home throughout the day. The applicant anticipates a minimal traffic increase with 1 to 2 customers attending the home per week, and parking is available on the driveway. The zoning bylaw requires that controversial home-based businesses, which involve clients attending the home, go through the neighborhood notice process and receive council approval. Neighborhood notices were mailed out on May 25th to all neighbors within 50 meters of the applicant's home. Residents receiving the notice were given the opportunity to comment on the application, and no concerns or objections were received. Home-based businesses are a permitted use, meaning that landowners have the right to undertake the use in accordance with the bylaw, unless provisions of the bylaw are specifically contravened. Home-based businesses generally must meet the following provisions: be incidental to the use of the premise as a residence, be compatible with residential uses, be limited in extent in terms of volume of materials sold and number of clients, and not substantially increase the volume of traffic and not detract from the residential character of the zone. The use identified would be a controversial use under section 5.1.19 of the zoning bylaw, as clients will be directed to the home. Staff have reviewed the application and are of the opinion that the home-based business application meets the requirements of the zoning bylaw, and therefore are recommending option number 1 to council. Option number 1 would be that council approves home-based business permit 2023.009 at 1755 Cotto Avenue, subject to the following conditions. No person other than a resident of the dwelling unit shall be engaged in the home-based business as an employee or volunteer. No advertisement carrying the address of the dwelling in which the home-based business occurs may be placed in any media. The business shall not occupy more than 25% of the gross floor area of the dwelling. Face of any sign on site must not exceed 0.092 meters squared and must be placed within the inside half of the front yard setback. The permit is only valid for the above address and is not transferable to another address. Reapplication will be required if the business moves locations. And home-based businesses are subject to periodic review to ensure compliance. The applicant's driveway shall be used for off-street parking of clients, and a City of Weyburn business license shall be obtained prior to operation. Option number 2 would be refusal of the home-based business permit, and the condition or the reasons for refusal would have to be provided tonight.
Do I have a motion, please?
Thanks, Your Worship. I would motion that the home-based business permit 2023-009 to allow for a photography studio business at 1755 Cotto Avenue, Lot 6, Block 10, Plan 75R 37762, be approved subject to the recommended conditions presented.
Second.
Your worship, I'll second that motion.
Discussion? I guess, Janine, this has always kind of bothered me about these home-based business. I feel that it's an old one coming in. No advertisement carrying the address of the dwelling in which the home-based business occurs and may be placed in any media. I think that's, how could we visit that to take that out?
That would be an amendment to the zoning bylaw if you wanted to remove that. That's currently a condition that's within the bylaw.
Because again, a lot of these, as you know yourself, that a lot of these bylaws came in the days of gone by, and this was a lot of push for bricks and mortar downtown and keep all the businesses downtown. And we've, our world has changed an awful lot on there, and I think that that's one of the things that would be, this needs to be changed out of it.
Yeah, that's something we could look at as staff, even for ones that go to council for approval. That may be something that they can get an exemption on, or something we could look at.
There. Simply, we're doing business differently these days, completely. We're trying to promote business. Call the question. Everyone in favor? Carried unanimously. And with that, we now have requires announcements. We'll go around the table. Go ahead. There.
Unless Councillor Higgs has one before me.
No.
Awesome, thank you so much. So this weekend is slated to have some fantastic weather. If people are out and about, I encourage you to check out the Weyburn Car Show in the downtown. And at 2 o'clock, we will be putting this year's inductee on the Walk of Fame in front of City Hall. So everybody can pop down and see who this year's inductee is. And yeah, we're looking forward to having a little bit of a presentation, and hopefully the inductee is going to be here. He is excellent, and we can all hear from him. And also, I want to welcome all of the soccer players that are going to be coming to our city this weekend for the soccer tournament.
Mr. Richards?
Also looking forward to Saturday afternoon. I just want to get my envy on, walking up and down the car show. Yeah. I was wondering if the city manager or director of leisure services could give us just a brief overview of our mosquito spraying program and what we do for that. I've had a few questions over the last few weeks. So if you could.
I would be happy to address your concern. Yeah, so we utilize a product, it's a larvicide product is what it is. So it's a granular product that our park staff actually goes around the perimeter of the city, and any standing water that we find will lay the larvicide in that standing water. And what it does is it actually eliminates the larva before it becomes a mosquito. So we do that around the perimeter of our city every time it rains, and in wet conditions, wet years where there's lots of standing water around. We also use that product in our parks and green spaces around the city and our ditch lines. Basically anywhere that there can be public or standing water, we'll use that product. We use that product because it does not have any adverse effects to humans or other ecological life. So in the years past, there used to be fogging programs that you would have seen. That chemical has now been deemed unsafe basically for humans and for other animals. So essentially you weren't just wiping out mosquitoes with the fog, but you were wiping out every other little critter that came along. So we've moved away from that, as are most cities. So we're basically following best practices as what other municipalities follow as well. There are some cities, such as Prince Albert, that do no control anymore. You're up for yourself. So one thing that we do ask, though, is that residents, if they have any standing water in their yards or on their properties, they get rid of that water, they dump it out, they try to get rid of those breeding grounds for the mosquitoes. So we have had some success, I would say, this year. It was quite bad in early May. I heard about it a few times, not just from the community, but from my household as well. But we've had some success with that. And on a typical year, we'd probably go through 1 to 1.5 pallets of larvicide. This year, we've gone through 1 pallet already. So it is something that we are trying to stay on top of to try to make our parks and the outdoors as enjoyable to the community as we can while, we have this good weather, which only lasts so long. So.
Thank you very much for that clarity.
Mr. Van Betju? So I have a few here. First off, Credit Union, night before, not to take away from the car show, Credit Union is going to be having their major event out on Friday night in front. I guess you should have been, what were you doing there? So you didn't. One of the things that we got a complaint on, this was directed to me and I passed it on to administration. It was clarified. We're supposed to be waterless Wednesday, but why the city is watering on waterless Wednesday? Mr. Matthew, if you would, please.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. So what we do is there's high demand of water throughout those other days, and so what we do is we have a scheduled time when we do watering throughout the city, and so we actually have water reduction still going through our operations, but when we water on Wednesdays, it's not a heavy watering day for us, but we make sure that because of the high demand is not happening in our households, that we're able to do some more watering that we want to do within the city at that time.
And go ahead.
I can add to that too. Parks such as Jubilee Park, with the zones and the infrastructure that we have there for watering, we simply couldn't get through the entire park as we need to on a weekly basis if we didn't water on Wednesdays. So we try to limit our water usage on Wednesdays, but we are stuck in some situations where we still need to utilize it.
Also, too, is that there is a bylaw for new grass. There's an exemption for new grass, and that you can come down to the city to get to
Yeah, so if anyone has new lawns putting in, they can come down and talk to our administrative staff and get exemptions. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jen, is it 3 weeks?
Yeah, any new grass, seed, or sod has a 3-week exemption. The times still apply. You cannot water between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. You still are required to follow the times, but you do have a 3-week exemption on the days.
Also, Andrew, I guess the director has also pointed out to me that there's a gopher infestation up in River Park next to the spray park, kind of east of the spray park. They've taken up new residency. High level, they want to live in the
Yeah, so we do have a pest control contract with JW Landscaping. They look after all of our gopher control and stuff throughout the city, but I'll definitely make sure it's on their hit list. I'm sure it is already, but I will
I don't know, and I
check
don't
on
know
that again.
because we had control. We had a horrible one. You know, we were dealing with that out at the cemetery last year, and people were complaining and even poisoning them on their own. And going, no, we can really handle all that. Did you have some comment on that or no?
No, I don't.
Okay. And then the other thing is that there was quite a few councillors up at the hospital sod turning today, which is, you can see on most likely on Discover Weyburn had probably, and the review probably had lots of news on the sod turning. So it's good to see that we are moving forward and progressing. As I said earlier in the meeting, there's going to be a lot of construction in Weyburn here this next little while. That's going to be that it's going to break the routine of a lot of people, so that there has to be inconvenience for the growth. So, Jennifer, any comments?
Yeah, we just want to thank everybody for their patience through the construction season. We definitely are going to be very busy this year. If you've been by 5th Street, you'll already notice that we're starting to tear that up. So we have started our construction season, and you're going to see some intersection closures, different things like that over the course of the while. But and I also have 2 events that I would like to talk about. So this Saturday on June 17th, on your way to the car show or the Walk of Fame, you can drop your household hazardous waste off at the Public Works Fleet Storage Building located at 55 16th Street Northeast. That will be running from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And so this is hazardous material that we would like you to dispose of there so that it does not get into our curbside garbages or poured down the drain or storm sewers. If you have questions about any of what you can bring to household hazardous waste day, it is on our city website under the engineering department. And another thing is SARCAN will also be open at that time to accept paint and electronics. And then, yeah, there's a list of acceptable materials that we'll be accepting at Household Hazardous Waste Day. And so that's on June 17th. Then the other event that we have on June 21st, Wednesday, June 21st from 3:30 to 6:30 is the 2nd annual Public Works and Emergency Services Open House event. And that, once again, is at the Fleet Storage Building at 55 16th Street Northeast. And so we will have the fire department, the police department, and the Public Works department. There will be free hamburgers and hot dogs. And we're also going to have, you'll be able to tour the equipment, and we will have our personnel on site, so you can ask them questions, you can meet with them, you can see kind of a little bit of what they do, and yeah, I think it's going to be a great event again this year.
And that was what date again?
That's Wednesday, June 21st from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m.
And Your Worship, I'll also add to the event, we're also doing a district plan review with the Arm of Weyburn. So there's actually an opportunity for engagement within that. So same times from 3:30 till 6:30. We'll have Crosby and Hannah there to talk to the public and gather information for our district plan review. And I have one more, Your Worship.
Sure. Lots to talk about.
Lots to talk about, which is a very good thing. So just a reminder to the public, right now we have a citizen survey out talking about our strategic plan and our upcoming municipal budget for 2024. So I do encourage the public, again, you have until June 16th, which is this Friday, to put in your survey back into the city. We've had a number of surveys, but I would recommend to people, take your time and provide more, because the input would help both us, administration and council, as we move forward.
In closing, Matthew and I went to the mayor's meeting in Melville. It was a very interesting one, listening to cities from north of us, out of that, lots of issues going on. And so it makes Weyburn Estevan look very peaceful and calm and sedate in comparison, and also to what we're doing. So we're doing very well. So I thank to all city administration, all staff of the city of Weyburn for the city that you're able to provide to us, and the citizenry that's working along here. With that being said, there's no notice of motion, and I will call this meeting adjourned.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today